across the realms and around the world. Welcome to Outside the Box. Tonight, your host and vessel of spirit is Nancy Zilversmit. We hope that you will learn to have the strength and courage to step outside the box and dwell with spirit, and to leave the old beliefs that hold you down behind you and rediscover your spirituality in new ways. Hi, this is Nancy, and it's March 18th, 2015, and we have a little issue with the color this week because we're using a different computer, and it does not register the same as the computer we had last week, so bear with me. I'm a little on the bright side this week. Light shining through, I guess. Okay, this show is brought to you by www.sanctuaryofsacredspace.com, and bear with my voice. I had laryngitis this last week, so I will probably be sipping water and sucking on candy through the show. Anyway, so we have a calendar of events. We have this Saturday, March 21st, at 10 a.m., we have a dowsing rod and pendulum class, make and take. And it is going to be at Harmony in Phoenix at 15222 West Encanto Boulevard. And if you're on Facebook, just look up Harmony in Phoenix, or on Google if you want to go to the website and register for that class. And we also have group readings night on Monday, March 23rd at 6:30 p.m. That's $20 at the door, and also the make and take was also $20. But this one is at Melting Heart Boutique at 7th Avenue Camelback, Suite 12. And this is, you just show up with your $20. It's group readings, which means that everybody sits there. We have a lot of fun. Spirit talks to everybody. Everybody gets a reading. And sometimes you get multiple readings. It depends if it's just your guardian angel or if you've got a loved one from the other side. Depends on how many want to speak to you. And those are always fun. And you get me for 2 hours for that. So, yeah, a lot of fun. We've had a lot of spirits with sense of humor, and we've had some serious stuff as well when we do those group readings. Okay, tonight's subject matter is lost souls and soul loss. Those are two different things. They get very much on the edge of each other. They kind of overlap, but they're not the same thing. And we're talking about living people, not dead people. I've talked about lost souls in the past, and that's been dead people. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about living people this time. And that's a whole different conversation. I've had to deal with a lost soul for the last 3 years, and finally letting go. You can't save these people if they don't want to be saved. And you can be friends with them, you can love them, but, you know, sometimes you just have to let them go. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about several other things. Last week we started out with manifestation, and what I had was a class recently on manifestation, and then we waited 1 month and saw what the results were. And then I've gotten letters from both of those people that were in, this was the experimental class, and I am going to be teaching it at another facility. What I got from these people is that they're still manifesting. They were very, very serious. They did lists, and they did all kinds of things to make sure that they took into action what they wanted. They pushed forward and did what they needed to do to get what they needed. And the one wrote me, and her name is Carmen, and she says, I have been manifesting many things since the class, and such as extra money for the week and other expenses. Parking spaces have been a big deal. More than most people think, because I like to park close to the entrance because I work late at night, and there's a lot of dark and dangerous things in the parking lot at night. So, and she says she's even been winning bids on eBay. Biggest manifestation is, and she actually wrote it all down in detail. Her biggest manifestation is she wanted to go to Puerto Rico to visit her mother. And not only is she going herself as a tourist, her kids, who are adults, also came up with the money, and they're all going together. And she said that was all part of her manifestation. Because they had originally said, we can't afford it, And somehow the money showed up. And so she gets to go visit her family in Puerto Rico, and that will be in the summertime in June. And she says, that she took care of the dates and the number amounts, but Spirit took care of the detail and the know-how. She says she'll keep me updated in the future. The other student also said that as a single parent with special needs child, it created a cycle of not being able to set goals and getting through the day. She says that the class made her realize it's easier to manifest things. We do not do vision boards. I'm totally a non-vision board person. She says, but it just takes action and lists of things that need to get done and the steps necessary to get projects done. I have taken actions to change my life, and the universe is responding in kind. And the thing is that the part of that class is when you take the action, sometimes taking action means letting go of things and letting go of habits and letting go of relationships and other things that are slowing you down from having your manifestations happen. I'm going to go ahead and talk about a couple of stories before we get into the subject matter. And we also will be doing readings during the second half of the hour. I do have some people that have asked questions. I also take questions during the show. So if you have any questions, you can also text those in if you like on the InQuick or the public chat room. And try to keep try and keep an eye on those for anything that comes in. So what I need you to do is just sit back and listen. If you have a question or if you want a free mini reading in the second half hour, let me know. If not, we will continue on with other subject matter, which I always have subject matter of one sort or another. Anyway, stories. People ask me about what do I do. Well, I had a manifestation setting myself, and I sit down and I go over budget once a month with Spirit, and then weekly, and it's like, this is what we need this week to pay all our bills. Actually, my bills for the month of March are only halfway through it, and they are paid. They are done. So what I do with Spirit is I say, just bring me some work. Bring me work. Whatever Spirit work you need to have done, just bring it to me. And they go, okay. So what they brought me this last weekend, I had a scheduled house clearing and people clearing. We call it an exorcism, but people are more comfortable with the word clearing. So and then I had a former student call the morning that I was going to go do the first appointment and said, you know what, can you squeeze me in? My husband has got some issues going on, and I need you to come out. And she says, I'm going to tell you like it is. I think it's going to be an exorcism. And I said, okay. So I went out there to do that. And when I do those, it does include the family. It does include any pets. It does include the house. So we go out and I do the whole shebang. And interesting enough, I did the early caller, first thing in the morning, the one that needed the husband done, and went out there thinking that, okay, this is going to be a simple thing. Then you sit down and you talk to them and you find out, okay, there's other things going on. What's your religious orientation? Blah, blah, blah. This was a husband I had not met. She'd gotten married again. I hadn't seen her in a few years. And so I got introduced to this new husband, and he was having some issues. He's seeing dark things out of the corners of his eyes. He's seeing shadows. He's feeling heaviness. He's not sleeping right. His moods are changing. He's having time loss. Time loss is a big one, and he doesn't know why. And she says, I tried to explain, but I guess I'm not using the right words. And I went, okay, well, I sat down and I listened to everything that they had to say, went through the house. I said, I'm going to do your house first. I'm going to clear your house. I'm going to find out what's going on where, and let you know. And the upstairs was, this house had 5 bedrooms. They didn't have that many people living there, but they had 5 bedrooms. So it's like going through each of the rooms, going through garages, and it turns out they had garages on both sides of the house. And it's just like, okay. So both sides of the house with the garages. So this was a pretty good-sized house. And went down into the man's office, which was formerly a bedroom of a house guest that stayed there, and that they turned it into an office. And touched the foot of the bed, which was right next to the window, and right on to the behind that was the computer area where he had turned into an office. Touched the bed, got an instant headache, and then touched the window to close the portal on the window. Closed the bed, closed the window. Got nausea immediately. Got really nauseous from that, and I went, okay, this is where that thing, whatever it is, comes and goes, and calls in other entities as well. And cleared that room, sealed it off, and the rest of the house, and then sat down and talked to the gentleman. I said, how are you feeling? He says, I'm feeling really jumpy. He says, it's just like something inside me is just jumping back and forth, and I'm really antsy right now. And I said, okay, well, and then I made my announcement to the spirit. I am not going to harm you. I'm not going to send you to hell. I'm not going to condemn you. I'm going to send you back to your source parent, which is, we call that God. Okay, you call it God, you call it source, you call it goddess, whatever you call it in your religious belief. So I said, I'm sending you back to your parent, and you're going to go back to the unconditional love, and yada yada yada. And I said, I only brought one tool with me, and I told that to my former student. I said, I only brought one tool with me, and I'm going to use it now. And I asked the gentleman just to lay down on the couch and relax, and I said, just breathe a couple of deep breaths, and he says, I'm still feeling a little antsy. I said, that's okay. And I put this brass bowl on his stomach, and it was immediately full of the dark entities. I mean, this guy, when you have an entity, that they usually have many, and it wouldn't play. So I had to pick it up and gong it and then clean it out and send it off to source. And I had to do that several times. This guy was loaded. And then we got down to the last one, and he went out. And he doesn't even remember this part. He went out, and then the big entity had to go. But when I was finished with him, when Spirit was finished with him, I backed off. I quit doing what I was doing, and I sat the wife down, and I said, we're going to let him lay there for a few minutes. The Spirit is still working on him. When they're done, the whole body will just relax. And it did within a couple of minutes, and the whole body relaxed. And I went over and tapped him on the shoulder, and how are you feeling? He went, and he didn't tell me he was having physical issues either. He says, my feet don't hurt, my back doesn't hurt, my whole body doesn't hurt, I don't have a headache. So he had a lot of physical issues that he didn't tell me about, which is probably a good thing. I just followed Spirit, and when I cleared this man, followed where I needed to go on different parts of the body. And he says, I feel so much lighter. And this is one thing that people... you don't have to say anything to them. That's the one thing they'll tell you. I feel so much lighter. And he said, I felt like I was carrying a great weight. And I said, and that great weight was honestly what was making you hurt. That was what was making you in pain. And it felt like you were carrying the world on your shoulders. That was the entities. Yeah, so he was very, very happy after that. And follow up on that is he's still doing okay. He's still doing okay. And so then I went to the second house on the same day, which was much easier than the first house. It was a small apartment, actually, and went through the apartment and cleared the apartment before I cleared the person. And comes to find she had a bunch of little entities and spirits hiding in the bedroom closet, which is like, just open the closet, come here, going home, And she says, well, I'm feeling antsy also. And I went, okay. She says, whatever it is, it's scared. And I had to give the same speech to the thing that had her, that I wasn't going to cause it harm. I wasn't going to send it to hell, blah, blah, blah. Send it back to source, send it back to the light. And it went boom, like that. It was an easy one compared to the first one. And no resistance at all. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get into The Lost Souls. And I'm looking here. Okay, that's readings. That's later. Okay, we're going to talk about soul loss first. Soul loss is something that a lot of cultures that have shaman or medicine men, that's a term that they call it, soul loss. And they usually provide, and I've been to one. I was at one many years ago. Before I got into this kind of work, I went to a private session where it was supposed to be a private drumming meditation. Well, what it was a soul retrieval, where they help retrieve little pieces of your soul that you may have left somewhere. Well, I didn't need a soul retrieval, because when he put me under the drum meditation, all I saw was this beautiful Native American woman with a big shawl dancing and dancing to the drum. And he said, "That's your soul." He told me this afterwards. "That's your soul." So, but what they do usually is if a person has a piece of their soul that they need recovering, during the drumming meditation, the shaman will also meditate during and still be drumming, and have the visions of what's going on with that person, and then counsel them afterwards, and they will return that piece of the soul that they've lost. So that's one way of doing it. Other ways are, not everybody has a medicine man, not everybody has a shaman, and not everybody knows that they have a soul loss. And in the modern world, we consider sometimes that to be normal. It's because we may have lost a direction, we may have lost our vitality, we may have lost our mission in life, our purpose, our identity, our genuine connection to the divine or to happiness, and they have a deep unhappiness going on. And in the modern life, people consider that to be normal. And our soul is an individual, and it's absolutely unique. But when we lose the value and essence of what our soul is, and it happens so subtly in the modern world, and it's very dangerous that few people realize what's actually going on with this. And we don't know that we've become disconnected to our soul. We accept as normal this kind of numbness that goes on, this lack of meaning that we have in our lives, and it blinds us to all the potential joy and happiness and the wholeness that our life can be. And we could be living an ordinary life. We could still be joyful. We could still have that connection to our soul and everything, but we kind of lose it sometimes. And there's a lot of different ways that we lose little pieces of our soul. And sometimes it's a self-esteem issue. We think we're not as good as everybody else, and we think we're not smart enough, we're not good enough, we're not skinny enough, we're not intelligent enough, we're not young enough, and we become a victim of circumstance as well. And we just blame the circumstances around us. Well, you can't do that, and then, because if you do, you're going to go down into depression, you're going to go down into the low self-esteem thing, you're not going to go anywhere, you're going to be stuck. We call it stuck in the mud. And the thing is that when you have things happen to you, get busy, move, get over it, not just get over it, but work to get over it, which means work your way through the obstacle. Because if you don't, if you sit there and just, oh, it was me, oh, whoa, it was me, you're not going to get anywhere with your life. You're going to be stuck. Okay? Get busy. Do something about it. Do something you like. Do something to solve the problem. It's like when I lost my income, I lost my husband, I lost everything due to a death. And it's like immediately, and my family couldn't understand why I was immediately doing things like that, because we have no income. We have nothing. I mean, I just paid all the bills. The bank is empty. It's going to be a while before we get money. And so it's like I started going through a lot of, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to file papers, I've got to find out about insurance, I've got to find out, call the union, find out what they can do for me, which they actually did. Did you know that if you have a loss of spouse, that you can get $1,000 from the government? There is a form for that. And there is a form, you file it, and within a couple weeks, $1,000, and it helps you cover expenses. But you do have to claim it the next year as a piece of income, but still, it helps you through a hard time. I got right into his job. Did he have vacation pay? Did he have this? Did he have that? Well, it's a good thing I had already paid bills and I kept a stock of food in the house because that's what we had to go on for a while. And it was a couple weeks before I got the vacation pay, which there actually was some, and that helped hold us over until insurance started coming through. I had to go through the paperwork for 401k, roll it over into an IRA, blah, 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 blah. So there are things you can do. Yes, you have to bury the person, which we definitely took care of that. Between the hospital and funeral home, like immediately, took care of that, and started taking care of everything else rolling right after that. So it's, yes, you have your grief time, and then I had to deal with the whole family's grief. But it's just like if I had sat there and went, woe is me, and cried my eyeballs out for weeks, nothing would have gotten started. It's just like you have to do something. If you are somebody who is a head of household, or if you're single or something, put together a survivor's manual that tells everybody where everything is and how they can get into deleting your Facebook and who's the beneficiaries for what and everything. My husband didn't have any of that, so I'm putting one of those together for my family because I knew where a lot of paperwork was. I dealt with a lot of paperwork when he was alive, but I had to pay off bills and everything when he died. So it's basically if you've got the, I'm not smart enough, I'm not enough, and I'm not enough for this or that or anything, get your butt moving. Get up, move your butt, okay? Find something to do to overcome your victim of circumstance self-esteem thing. You don't have to live in your circumstances. You can get out of that circumstance. If you put an impossible to achieve perfectionism on yourself, that's another issue. Don't do it. Don't do it. Work day to day and, accept who you are. If you need improvement, work on it. I'm working on it. I gained 30 pounds in the last 2 years. I had just lost that 30 pounds before my husband died, and then I gained it back. And my doctor said, well, you have a little cholesterol issue, but we want you to lose weight. And they put me in a weight loss program, VA. Obamacare. Ooh, okay, another rant for another time. But anyway, if your daily life seems meaningless and task-driven, are you in a life where you are, it's like 9 to 5, punching the clock, going to a job you hate? Well, change it. If you find that it's meaningless and it's task-driven, it's only to pay the bills, find something that you like to do. Don't give up the J job right away. Work a second job if you have to, until you can work into what it is that you want to really do. I have a son who is 23, and he was going to college when my husband died, and working, only going to college part-time. He was not working. My husband said school was more important. Well, when my husband died, I told my son, guess what? You're going to work. So what he did is he got a full-time job that worked 12-hour shifts, still went to school, and then he got a second job, part-time. What he does is he works 60 hours a week, goes to college, just made honor roll, national honor roll, and in some Greek fraternity for his work. And it drives me nuts when people say, I already work 40 hours a week, and it's just like, oh, yeah, and you sit there and you complain. But, yeah, and this is coming from somebody who, when I was single, younger and a single parent and with one child, I worked 3 jobs and went to college full time. Not an excuse. It depends. If your life is meaningless and task-driven, do something to get out of that cycle. And next week we'll probably talk about finances and your spirituality and what that has to do. I will be working Dave Ramsey convention next week, so you'll get to hear about that and how that works with your spirituality. But anyway, if you feel hopeless, pessimistic, helpless, you're not. Okay? If you're pessimistic and you just feel that everything's going to go wrong no matter what you do, you know what? You need to dig yourself out of that hole and start looking at the fact that you're alive, you're breathing, you got up today, the world still exists, and you know what? There are things to be thankful for. Some people that are in the lost soul thing, they like to take their heart and they put it in a steel box. They don't let anybody close to them. They don't let anybody close to them because they're so afraid that they're going to get their heart broke. Or they've had their heart broke, and they won't let anybody near them. You need to learn to start trusting people. You need to learn that there are good people out there in the world. So they also, the ones who feel that they have to put their little heart in a steel box, they feel that, you know what, they don't matter anyway, so they don't feel like their love is going to make a difference to another person. So they just kind of lock it all up. And the thing is that they do matter, and if they show love, they will get love. And if they are with the wrong people, they need to remove themselves from that, because they're always trying to fit in. They always want to belong. But the thing is, they rarely feel like they fit in. They rarely feel like they belong. And it's because of that low self-esteem piece. And a lot of times it's how they act around other people. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the Lost Souls piece. But they feel beaten down by the challenges in life. And again, you just got to get back up again and just keep moving forward. And people ask me, or they'll tell me, my God, you do so many things in a day. And it's just like, well, if I don't do them, they're not going to get done. It's like I get up in the morning. Today, let's just take today for as a matter of fact, test my computer, make sure everything's running, because we had a little issue before the show last time and I had to switch computers out and use 2 computers at the same time. So this week I actually am networked with a network cable, so we don't have glitches and blips in the video this week, and actually got the Windows 8 to behave. And so I've got both screens directly in front of me. I'm not going back and forth between 2 computers. And then I've been collecting material all week long, and then I sit down and I write out how I'm going to do the show. That's before I go anywhere in the morning. And then I have to be down to the VA, and I have to leave an hour early because parking's horrendous. I am in Phoenix, Arizona. We just had the president here last week. The VA, this is where the VA scandal thing started. Yeah. I'm on the weight loss program over there, so I have to go there in the morning on Wednesdays. So after putting the show together, I go to the VA for an hour, come back, have lunch, make sure the computer's up and running again, put on makeup, get ready for my show. And then when I'm done here, I get to rest for a little bit. Then I get to go teach a class tonight. Last week I taught a class for 3 hours. Tonight I'm going to be teaching a class for 3 hours again. Yeah. It's like, my God, you do so many things. And I'm going, yeah, well, it's part of my life. How do you think I earn my money and make my living and take care of myself? And that's one day out of the week. What do I do the rest of the week? I'm busy. So it's like, yeah, don't sit there and think that the challenges of life are beating you down. Get up. Answer the challenge, move beyond it, do things with your life. Just get off your butt. Okay, if you suffer from a variety of fatigue, hard to treat physical problems, chronic pain, weight gain or loss, part of it isn't because you aren't getting up and changing those challenges in your life. I gained weight. I changed my diet after my husband died. I wasn't the only one in the family that did that. My oldest daughter also gained I think she gained almost 60 pounds. Then she lost it all. Then she got pregnant, got another grandchild. But anyway, and then she's lost that weight. So it's like I'm on the road to losing weight again. I'm really not that bad. If I get into the weight loss program, my cholesterol is only 233. I get in there, and there's people with cholesterol of 400, and I'm going, how are you even still walking? And they're 200 to 400 pounds. I'm the skinny one in class. But anyway, so yeah, get up and take care of yourself. Get up and take care of yourself, because this is, having the mentality that you're having is usually part of the problem. Get up and move. Get up and move. Do things. You have a struggle being able to accept love and nurturing from other people. Well, maybe you should learn how to give it too. And you know what? Part of accepting love and nurturing is also giving back. And you have to allow that to happen if you want to, and that's that little person that's got that heart locked up in a box. If you want love, you got to accept it. You got to understand that, maybe somebody actually cares about you, cares for you. You get depressed, you get anxious, you have chronic worry about things. Sit down, make goals. Start working on it. And when you have all this worry and stuff, is it going to help you any? When you're worried about future stuff, the stuff hasn't happened yet. If you don't want it to happen, then what you need to do is change what it is you're doing in your life right now, and get rid of that. Okay, work on it. Again, you got to work through it. You got to work through it. If you think you're not appreciated enough, you know what? If you're with one group of people and they don't appreciate you, go where you can do something where you will be appreciated. Yeah. And don't judge others. Oh, my God, you don't want to be judged? Don't judge others. I will go into the examples of that when we get to the lost soul piece. But judging others, oh, my God. And it seems like the people who have lost the little piece of their soul, this judgment piece, that's all they want to do is judge what it is you're doing. And it's just like, dude, before you judge me, clean up your own life. And I've told people that before. You're going to judge me? Clean your life up first before you tell me what I should be doing. These kind of people that have soul loss, they'll numb themselves to what's going around them. Through escapism. And escapism could be drugs, alcohol, sex, television, and video games. Computers, anything that they want to get away from reality, and sleeping a lot. They sleep a lot. And they feel a great disappointment in life. Well, if you're disappointed in life, get up and do something to change that. Go explore something. Take a hike. Take a walk. Bring up your those levels of the hormones that you have by getting out there and getting busy. Your adrenaline, getting that up, and that suddenly will make you feel better when you get that up. And you've forgotten how to dream. And I'm not talking sleep dream. I'm talking you forgot how to dream where you want to go with your life. Okay? These people will forget how to dream. And you know what modern medicine will do with these people? They will give them a pill. They'll give you a pill or a medication for the chronic pain. They will give you the weight issues. They'll say diet and exercise. And part of mine was those 2 years that I just ate bad. So I've changed my eating. I'm losing weight again. So anyway, do something about it. I got told. The thing is that we sometimes label soul loss as mental illness when it's not. It's such as depression or covering up the symptoms with psychiatric medications and things. If it's a biological problem, that's one thing. If it's a medical problem, that's another thing. If it is a soul loss, and I just described some of those factors, get your ass up and take care of it. You'll feel better. But if you actually have a medical condition that is genetic or something, that is something that, yes, maybe you're going to have to get some kind of medication or something, but try different things. You know what? The VA even has alternative medicine therapies there. I'm taking Tai Chi at the VA, and I'm waiting for the yoga class. They do have alternative stuff for pain and other things that are going on, and I'm taking it just because I'd like to take Tai Chi, and it's free because I'm a veteran. So, yeah, there's a lot of free services, and there are other ways of doing it. There's a lot of people, even here in the Valley, that a lot of places to draw people in will offer free classes. So go to them. Get into a meetup that has those. Go to them. Feel better about yourself. Do some meditation. There's a lot of meditation groups. A lot of slowing down your mind. There's a lot of people out there that are having the same problems you are. Get with a group of people. Get some therapy for that. It's not always a pill. It's not always medicine. You can go that route. If you don't like that route, find something different. The vets in my class today, we had a panel of people who were asking what what our concerns were, and we had the vets were speaking up. Well, I prefer to take this alternative thing, and I'm doing the alternative exercise, and I'm taking the alternative of this and that, and the VA approves it. So yeah, do it. And people are always so down on the government that it's only medicine. No, they're actually opening up to other things, including Reiki and acupuncture. I think they have acupuncture there as well, and massage and other things. So if you have to, know that your soul needs space to heal. If you have to, change your career so your soul can breathe. If you are stuck in a thankless job in a cubicle and you don't want to be there, it's depressing. It's not what you want. You don't want to be in a call center with people yelling at you all the time. You don't want to be in air conditioning all the time. That is just recycled there. You want to be in some other place where you can breathe. Well, your soul needs to breathe too. So help your soul breathe. Okay. What I think I'm going to do is we have 20 minutes left. That's probably not going to be long enough for the lost soul piece. So we're going to continue with the soul loss piece, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the readings for the people that went ahead and asked me questions and wanted readings. Anyway, sometimes for your soul to breathe, sometimes it's not your career. Sometimes it's an unhealthy relationship. And I recently went through a toxic relationship, and I decided my soul needed some space, and I needed some space, and I released the relationship. Sometimes it has to be done. And you can try therapy, you can try boundaries, you can even try you just need to find more people to love, or relocate to a place that helps your soul come alive. And that is what sometimes you need to do for your own soul. Engage in creative activities, things that you are interested in. Reconnect to find your peace and your happiness right there within you, because it's always there. It's just that you've been avoiding it, or you've been covering up and not reconnecting to it. It is there, and it's more profound than you think. It's simpler than you think. And if you have to, find some like-minded people or get some therapy with people that will help you to do that. And if you have a shaman in your area, good luck, because they definitely will help you out with that. Life coaches will also, the modern shaman, life coaches will also help with those kinds of things. And Also soul coaches. I do soul coaching. I don't do life coaching. I do soul coaching. It's on a different level. And it also involves a little hypnosis. So whatever helps to make your soul sing again, that's what you need to do. Okay. Now, I have, and we will do the lost soul next week, I have a couple of questions. One of the questions is, how can I better interpret my dreams? Well, first off, write it down. Know that each piece of your dream, and I've done interviews here on the show before, and not only have I done interviews, actually, I think the last time I did an interview on the show was 2 years ago, and it was Christina. Her name was Christina, and she was sitting here with me on camera, and I started doing the soul interview with her, and she just totally went into trance and went out in hypnosis, and I actually got to talk to the soul, and that happened live on camera. And when I brought her out of it, I asked her, do you remember what it was all about, what was said? She didn't remember a darn thing, and I had to go ahead and tell her. I was writing everything down while I was talking to her, and let her know. And it had to do with something that she was having some self-esteem issues, and this part of, as a matter of fact, her dream was a nightmare, and this part of her that was chasing her so badly wanted to tell her, and that she was beautiful, that she was enough, that she was a good person, and so on and so forth. And this thing that was chasing her was actually a dead body who had its mouth and his eyes sewed shut, because she didn't want to see herself. She didn't want it to speak certain things. And it's just like, that's what it wanted to tell her. So anyway, some of the worst things in your dreams. Okay, some people do the dream book thing. I don't do the dream book thing. What I actually do is I ask a person, and I teach this class actually. I teach dream therapy. And interviewing the soul. We take and we break down what are all the characters in the dream, and then we ask certain questions of the dream as to what piece of our soul is this, because every character, whether it be an object, a person, an animal, or something like a door, a house, these are all pieces of the soul, and each one has something to say. And you can question the object, pick one, and each object is going to have a different point of view as to what's going on with you, a different piece of your soul. So if you want to do that, Catherine, you can contact me. We can go through that if you'd like. If you never took that, you were a student of mine a long time ago. She doesn't live locally anymore. She was a student of mine a long time ago. I don't know if she ever took that class or not, but if you need help with that, you know how to get a hold of me through Facebook, through email. You know where I am. Okay, let's see. So that was the question, and then we have 3 readings, and the first one is for Landflower. This is her Facebook name, and that's how she can identify her reading when she listens to this, whether she's listening live or in archive. I had people that actually wanted to watch this live on video, because there is live video here on Achieve Radio. Okay, so Landflower. Integrate everything that you have going on in your life. Work it together. Listen to that inner voice that you have. I know that you're spiritually connected. Take time in silence to listen to that voice, and know that you need to tap into the creativity that that voice can bring forward. That is your own intuition. That is a piece of your soul, and it wants to get out, and it wants to be playful. It says, stop fighting with yourself. And sometimes we do that. We fight with ourselves. And it can get very intense when that happens. So stop fighting with yourself and ask all parts of yourself and your spirit guides and your angels to participate in this. Okay? Ask them to participate. And what it'll do is if you're feeling suppressed at any time, if you're feeling forced into things, excuse me, had to drink some water, due to circumstance, or due to situation or stress or anything, ask for the participation of spirit, and they will definitely be there, because there's no reason for you to be in isolation. You're not alone. You're not alone, not at any point in time in your life. You are not alone, because they're always there, and they're waiting for you to talk with them. You're going to have a breakthrough coming up, and you're going to have success, so stop worrying about it. Really, stop worrying about it. We all have to go through life and enjoy it while you can. And try not to play the politics of people that are a little on the two-faced side, that talk out of the side of their mouth. They talk to you one way and they talk to everybody else in another way, because that's just going to exhaust your mind. You don't even need to deal with those people. It's basically, you don't have to be under their moral thumb. And you know what? Live your life. It's not about what people think of you. It's about where you need to be and what you need to do for yourself, and bring that energy up that you have that's deep within yourself, and know that you will be on the right path when you do that. Okay. All right. The next one, they're going to have me change decks here, is for, okay, I have a Lewis and a Louie. So this one is for Lewis. And just to make sure that you, the two gentlemen that are listening, get them right. Okay, so Lewis says, "What am I not seeing so that I can move on?" Oh my God, we just talked about a whole bunch of things. First off, see if you're in that category where you have a little soul loss going on, and then second, stop listening to all the different stories that are out there. You need to create your own story, okay? And if you're not seeing it, make your own way. Make your own way. Do it now, in the present. Work towards your dreams, okay? You have obstacles. You have obstacles, and if you're not seeing them, you're going to trip over them really soon. So it's like, okay, you need to move on, and sometimes it means climbing the obstacles, getting over them, and I think I just discussed that this whole hour. I think I was just discussing about what to do about obstacles. I hope I already gave you that before the reading, because you need to know that, other people who may look at you in a different way, and they may even be jealous of some of the stuff that you're doing. They may be jealous. And you may see that as being a blockage, a darkness. But know that there's light coming out behind it. And the card that came up, it's really funny, because we're due to have a solar eclipse. It's the solar eclipse card. And know that the solar eclipse, the light comes back, the shadow passes. So you need to do that, because only you have the key to work your way through. And okay, and I think that's it on that one. I keep from coughing on camera. Woo. Water. Okay, so what I have here is Louie, and Louie wants to know, should I stay where I am at or move on and allow the other person to continue on their path? Is our time together done? Wow, loaded question. Okay. Are one of you being held back in their growth? Think about that. Also think about the soul loss piece. Are one of you having that problem? Okay. And it's not all of the problems. You can just be having one. Okay. All right. So first off, they're saying, what you need to do is watch your intention. If you're setting an intention, don't say, I want to be together forever. I like to smack those people that do that. Yeah, really, especially when I do readings live. I really want to smack those people. If they're telling me that this is the only person and they can't go on, there are billions of people in the world. So if you feel that it's time to move on for one reason or another, and you can't work through the problem together and allow each other to grow, sometimes the growth is growing apart. So be careful how you set your intention with that, because what you really want to do is to come to life. If leaving a relationship is going to bring one or both of you to life, then yes, move on. Okay, so you've got to weigh that as well. And even if the spark of love and commitment is still with you, sometimes time apart will either make it or break it. So allow that spark to happen. Okay, be strong. Be strong, but have understanding. Do it with gentleness. Do it with compassion. And the next card is home. If home is where you both are and there is an issue and you can't work through it, then sometimes home needs to be in two different places. They're just continuing to go through that. And they're saying, be willing to step into the unknown. Be willing to step into the unknown. Don't have fear, in other words, of change. Don't have any fear of changes. And don't feel like you're going to be hung out to dry and there's not going to be anybody for a long period of time. Actually, right now, done with a toxic relationship right here. I am ready to just be alone for a while. I am, and I'm running into a lot of women that are feeling the same way. Oh my God. Yeah, right now, no relationship. I am going to do what I want to do, and you may need to go through a period of that. They're also saying, you know what, take some time out, educate yourself. Take some time out, educate yourself. Work through the storminess that has happened, and bring yourself and spirit back into place, back into center. Take care of yourself, take care of your own issues, and know that that is okay. Sometimes we have to reset. We have to do a reality check of ourselves, where we're going in our life, what's happening in our life. And sometimes we just need to take care of a lot of crap that we've got going on. And it doesn't involve necessarily a second person. Sometimes it's just the crap we need to take care of and we need time to do it. And if you can't do it as a couple, then do it separately. Okay, that's all the readings I have. But what I do have is a little comment we've had going on here in Phoenix, Arizona today. You know, I got tattoos. And tattoos are very identifying marks. And but I have no intentions of ever putting one on my face. We had some idiot today go to a college and decide he's going to start shooting people. He killed one. He injured, the reports are saying between 5 and 6 people. The description was very, very plain. The man was a shaved head with a tattooed face and neck. He was white. Tattooed face and neck. Idiot. If you're going to go out and do things like that, what makes them think that they aren't going to find you? They caught him, by the way. They did a big search thing. They did finally catch him. The latest update on my iPad. They said that they did catch him. But, yeah, idiot. You know, it's like you're easy to spot. Do you have a suicide issue or something? I mean, you know, want death by cop, but they caught him alive. But easy to spot. If you are going to have a tattoo, be responsible, please, because you are easy to identify if it is somewhere where people can see it. I don't understand people that just tattoo crap across their head, and especially when they tattoo some weird cuss words sometimes. Yeah. Talk about a low self-esteem issue, where they'll put hellbound or whatever it is that they want to. I don't know what this guy had on his face. I haven't seen photos of him yet. I'm sure that they'll put it on the evening news. But anyway, yeah, it's like, be responsible. Be responsible. And if you want to talk about a lost soul, I think that man is probably a lost soul, not a soul with loss, a lost soul. And those people, sometimes you can't save them. So let's see what we've got here. Okay. That person is going to have hell to pay. Alrighty. Let's see. I've got other things here. And we will put that one aside. We did that already. Okay. So when we get into the lost soul, next week, you're gonna find that sometimes these are a little different from the soul loss. Okay, with the soul loss, you can take care of it. You can get help for it. Sometimes with the lost soul, they do not want your help, and if you do give them help, and if you show them love, sometimes it has to be from afar because they are so toxic. And we'll go into a lot of discussion about that next week. These are people that don't cue into their own soul. They've got other things going on that they cue into, and they really don't cue into source. They don't attach to source at all. They consider their source to be something entirely different. So when you reflect back into your own voice, the voice of your soul, do it without fear. Next week, Lost Souls, and we'll talk about that, and I'll see you next week.